Yes, greetings and welcome. Topic for the devotional is the awesome God. Our first scripture is taken from Esther chapter 7, verse 1 to 10. Memory verse is taken from Psalms 47, verse 2. Yeah, may I drink some meringue tea. The time right now in Kingston, Jamaica, it's 6 minutes past 4. Yeah, man, Psalms 47, verse 2 says, "For the Lord Most High is awesome. He is a great king over all the earth." Yeah, motivational quotes. Do not be afraid of the Lord your God. He is with you. He is the great and awesome God. Prophetic word for today. The awesome God who does hard things shall visit you today in the name of Yahshua. You know, the message. As believers, many of the needless pain and lack we suffer are due to our ignorance of God's awesome nature and power. It is disheartening that God's people perish due to lack of knowledge. This awesome God moved in the life of David and he killed Goliath. When he moved in the lives of Mordecai, Esther, and the Jews, Haman, their sorrow, their sworn enemy, died gruesome and shameful death, while they all lived to glorify God. Today, I encourage you to tap into God's awesomeness and power for victory over our enemies, challenges, and for your personal breakthrough. There was a young lady who desired to study abroad, but she and her parents had no money. She prayed to God about it in the church all the time. Normally, before you are given visa to study abroad, you must have been given an admission and present the evidence that you have paid your fees. However, this lady had none of those requirements, yet she went to the embassy for an interview for a visa to go abroad and study. Before the visa interview at the embassy, she observed 3 days of fasting and prayed that the God of Elijah would come true for her. The white man who interviewed her asked for her admission fee letter and evidence that she had paid her school fees. She told the man that she had none of those two. The man told her, "I am sorry, I cannot give you a visa." She replied, You will give me, sir, because there was a word of knowledge in my church that you would give me. The white man asked, What, what word of knowledge? She replied, Prophetic utterance spoken through by a prophet of God. The white man inquired, Who is this prophet of God? She told him, My father in the Lord. And the white man said, You are indeed a strange girl. On the second thought, I will issue you the visa. That was all. The awesome God moved in her favor and she got the visa without supporting documents. Hey, my sister Mina, how are you? Here drinking tea. Mina says, How are you, everyone? Like done. And she said, Please, everyone, watch and comment on my long video. Support to increase my watch hour. Okay, time a bit chilly, so I don't want it. The tea get cold. Almost done. One more sup. All right. Praise God. I finish it. All right. This year, enjoin you to make the awesome God the big center of your life. He will do great and marvelous things without number for you in the name of Yahshua. Excuse me. Excuse me. I am sorry. Mm. Yes, indeed. Mhm. I connect my life and my destiny to the awesome God by the power and the blood of Yahshua. Father, you are the awesome God. Visit me, my family, my career, my ministry, my finance today in the name of Yahshua. Father, do something new and glorious in my life today in the name of Yahshua. Yes, see faith in action. See a young lady. She had no documents about getting visa, or I should say support her, on her journey. Yet still she believed, had faith in the Most High God, Yahweh, that she would get the visa to go abroad and do her studies. And I have trust and believe. So the Most High will do what He need to do in your behalf. According to His word, He said that fear is not of Him, fear is not of God, but He give us love, one, power, two, and a sound mind, three. So put away fear, my friends. Put away doubt. Is of the enemy of God. Bring all type of things to make your life seems dismal. Yes, indeed. Do all you can, my friends, to build it. Do all you can. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, man. So I'm here. Just respond something. So never get into the newspaper now. Forensic firepower. FID Mocha stay smarter. Financial criminals. Okay. The island stop agents tasked with deterring, investigating, and prosecuting financial crime say that forensic capability and experts skills are outmatching criminals who have been trying to utilize ingenious ways to run off or hide monies and assets. Mhm. Wow, that's going to be quite. That not going to be an easy thing to do. The case the law enforcement say have led to many jaw-dropping findings, translated to hundreds of millions of dollars for state coffers. According to Colonel Desmond Edwards, Director General of the Major Organized Crime and Anti-Corruption Agency, MOCA, entities which have undergone a revolution in recent years are now significantly more adept at filtering out evidence and investigating financial crimes. A fact that felons have recognized. The criminals are very much aware, which is why they come up with all kinds of seemingly ingenious ways of hiding their assets, use, even using relatives who are not aware. And that is what prompted us at Mocha certainly to build financial forensic capabilities because we have found that unless we have these experts who can follow the money, basically, we really are not going to be as effective as we ought to be. So we have built capacity and collectively ourselves, the Financial Investigation Division, FID, and other agencies as well have become better at going after them, following the money. Edwards told the weeks to make a observer on the exchange. Edwards, who appeared alongside Dennis Strong, Chief Financial Director of FID, and others from both entities, said over the last 10 years has evolved. Oka has evolved, focused on building its cyber forensic capabilities and financial forensic to stay ahead of criminal enterprise while working hand in hand with other law enforcement units. The partnership have enjoyed for a number of years now is that MOCA tends to lead on the criminal investigation, and FID, using the same body of evidence, will lead on the assets recovery. So a lot of the assets that FID pursues are as a result of the investigation that MOCA have commenced and then brought them in as part of the investigation. A good example would be the Manchester Parish Council fraud case, where we commenced the investigation and when we realize the extent of the properties that is involved, sorry, that this individual had acquired, FID was brought on board and they pursued, first of all, the resilience of and ultimately the fortitude of those properties. While we pursue the criminal investigation, so it's division of labor. Basically, we have one comprehensive approach, but we focus on some aspect of it, and FID on others, Edwards told editors and reporters. According to Chang, the intensity of those efforts and investments are creating jitters in the criminal underworld. I can tell you, and I would say it's all the while the financial investigators, the forensic investigators at FID and MOCA are top of the line. So we find some assets that people think will not be found. When we finish tracking, they are surprised, Chong told on the exchange. In fact, regularly we have lawyers coming to us on behalf of the people trying to negotiate and say, boy, you can take another approach. We say, no, you commit the crime. You're going to pay the money. If it is illegal gains, we are going to pay the money. We are going to get the money illicit gains. And we have been very successful in that regard for the past 3 weeks. Two lawyers have come to us trying to negotiate, and we told them no, John disclosed. According to Nigel Park, Senior Director Legal and Prosecution Service Unit OCA, the most common method weaponized by criminals has been neutralized. Most popular method is registering assets in the name of other people. So our task, in line with the Companies Act being amended, so benefactor ownership is no longer a requirement. We try to find who are the benefactorial owner of the asset, and it usually is evidently not too hard to dispute because we look at the ability of the person to acquire the asset through illegitimate means. And if you can't find that, then you work out who is the likely owner. It is just about following the paper, following the trail, but there are a number of different methodologies, Parks stated. According to Chang, there is no doubt as to whether the work of the entities have to so far paid off. We have also been working with various law enforcement agencies and also through our mutual partnership agreement in terms of asset recovery through Proceeds of Crimes Act, POCA. We have been very active under that in terms of ensuring that we are in a position, even before the case is tried, John said, as in as in over other years. He said 2025 saw significant recoveries. In 2025, we actually seized 164.1 million in cash and significant amounts of assets. In assets, we had the courts ordering confiscation exceeding 33 million and US 35,000. We have a lot of other assets we are going after, John noted. He said, while much might not be said in the public domain about investigation being undertaken by the entity, which is duty bound to obvious citizens' rights, the number of cases before the courts are telling. We are not reveal anything about the cases until someone is charged because we have to respect the rights of citizens and everyone is presumed innocent. And even after your charge, we have to reveal evidence for us to make some announcement about it because it is in the public interest at that time. So there's a lot of things we have been doing, a lot of significant things we have been doing. So it so in the courts now, there's about tens of hundreds of millions of dollars that are looking at right now, but it has to go through the court process. Chung stated. Edwards, in the meantime, said in 2025 Famoka was also significantly busy. We had a total of 33 fairly significant operations. We did 35 arrests and we had 30-person charge. Last year, we also had 11 convictions. Obviously, those convictions were from cases that were already going through the courts, he said. End of article. Willie Stewart hails Cat Core as musical genius. Let's read this article. And here where it's you see a picture here, 1977 from left, Willie Stewart, Bonnie Ruggs, Garrett, Ibo Cooper, Richie Daly, Stephen Cat Core. See, these are the one, two, three, four, five, six founding members of Third World. You know, say Bonnie Ruggs passed away, Kara Jarrett passed away. I know about Richie Daly. And if I'm still night, I don't know. Doug's dead. Stephen get. Oh, okay. Former Third World drummer Willie Stewart has described Stephen Cat Core as a musical genius like no other, crediting the iconic guitarist with helping to change the course of reggae with his unique approach to playing and production. Core died in Kingston on January 18 at age 69. He co-founded Third World in 1973 with keyboardist Ibo Cooper. After both had left the Inner Circle band, his guitar solos were electrifying, deemed reach straight to your heart, and also solo spoke directly to his soul. Stewart, who was a Third World member from 1976 to 1997, told Observer Online, I remember fondly the last two times we shared a stage together at both Show Rhythms of Africa in 2023 and later that year at the celebration of Igbo's life. Even after all the years, the music was still magical. Same vibration, same spirit, same fire, same love. Coop, Cooper Stewart, percussionist, Ivan Jarrett, lead singer, rhythm guitarist Bonnie Ruggs, is Richie Daly, com- comprised the classic Third World lineup that recorded hit songs like Irie Heights, Now That We Found Love, Try Your Love, uh, Girl from Always Around, Ghost Drum. Uh, these those songs are popular songs. Yes, my friends, please give I and I a thumbs up. I see about 7 people here and 3 thumbs up. Please, please do the right thing, because in a minute sense, people are watching support it. It don't make no sense. 7 people, 3 thumbs up. Wow, I've been here 32, 33 minutes. Stewart and Daly are the only survivors from that cast. Yeah, everybody else passed away. Bonnie Ruggs, Cat Cooper, uh, Ivan, Ivan Carrot, Bonnie Ruggs, Cat Cooper has passed away. 4 out of the 6 passed away. Stewart and Daly, Richie Daly and Stewart are the two surviving of the cast. The London-born Stewart is the younger brother of famed brand leader, Byron Levy. Byron Lee. He knew Cooper from their time as students at Woolmer's Boys High School when they played in bands. Cat was a alley cat in Barbican while I was in Ligane. I was in Rhythms in Mona. We all transitioned to the inner circle, and that began a journey that would shape our lives forever. Stewart recalls from there the idea of Third World was formed, a band that would go on revision, revision, I'm not try to pronounce the word there, Yeah, but they did make a big mark on the reggae brand, blending it fearlessly with pop and funk, carrying Jamaican music to the global stage. Third World's fusion of reggae, rock, funk, funk, and rhythm and blues borrowed from acts like the Wailers, Santana with Earth, Wind and Fire. It caught the attention of stars such as Stevie Wonder, who co-wrote Try Your Love. Stewart honored Cole at the 2023 Rhythm of Africa show in South Florida. That event, which celebrated Third World's 50th anniversary, heard them playing some of the band's songs. Today, I send my deepest condolences to his wife, his children, to all and everyone who helped him near and dear. Cat has now crossed over and joined our other founding brothers, Ibo, Carrot, Bonnie Ruggs, who had gone into the dreamland we played and sung about so many years ago, said Stewart. His work will never die. His impact can never be overshadowed. He lived on his music through his children and forever sits in the culture of Jamaica as a reggae ambassador for life. End of article. Wow. Condolences to Cat Cooper. Yeah, man, we all love Third World. So they are a beautiful band, beautiful band, beautiful band to listen to. Parents urged to register students for cashless transportation card before February 1st. So as me see it, the government even giving the kids them free ride on the bus. Before I start ride from September, October, even to November, the kids never there paying the money on the bus. And the bus here for the kids them with their card is minuscule. $25 must spend. $25 when they take the taxi now. The taxi man them charge them $150. So you see it. Them listen to the Boogie Yaga song them with the taxi man them a play or the bus man them. And so transport minister, transport telecommunication, energy minister, because under his portfolio, Daryl Vaz, he said parents are being urged to register their children for the student transportation card ahead of February 1st, and the rural bus program goes fully cashless. You have to look as me one gate a pull button next door. In a release on Tuesday, Minister of Energy, Transport, Communication, Darrell Bart, said that students without a card will not be allowed to take the rural school bus after the February 1st deadline. With the card, students will benefit from a subsidized fare of $50 per trip. They have been traveling free since the rollout of the program at the end of 2025-2026 academic year from September. See, same thing I said. Before me start to ride my e-bike, normally me used to stop one day out of the week and take public transportation. And when I noticed, I said, you them aboard the bus, drive and even not take no from them. I said, put in the cap on the machine, no. So it was not even just a country thing, but a town thing from September. The kids them up never they appear no money on the bus. So Minister Vaz, who was speaking at the recent post-cabinet press briefing, said that the drivers of the school buses will not be accepting cash for rides. Wow. If you do not have a student card and you have not top up your, your student card to pay this subsidized fare of $50, you will be going back to the old system of paying 300 to 600 a day and competing with the adults for transportation, he pointed out. Okay, but you notice him say the rural buses. I know there's a difference between the kids in the Kingston. Their fare is more or less $25. While the kids them in the country area pay $50. So I don't know if they switch it and just make it $50 across the board. And that's what I say right here, $50. Because I know when I pay, when I take the bus and use my card, I pay $50. So it's probably for those who live in the country area. Mm, okay, let me continue. So it's sports, cost effective for you to get the card, safer for your children to travel that way, more convenient, he said. The minister advised individuals to visit the website or social media pages of the Jamaica Urban Transport Company, JUTC, or the Ministry of Education, Skills, Youth Information through the link to complete the registration form. He appealed to members of parliament, councillors, churches, and government entities to help students in need to get their cards so that the buses will operate at optimal. Meanwhile, the minister said the rural school bus program continues to be operational, stable, and deliver good service. As of January 2026, 82 rural school buses are available and fully deployed across dispatch location island-wide, he reported. He noted that the buses have been running on schedule without disruption in anticipation of increased demand. Additional drivers have been recruited to strengthen route coverage and reduce the risk of service gaps, he informed. End of article. Jump on fire. This governor. Let's see this article. US Supreme Court to hear Trump bid to fire Fed governor. This combination of pictures created on August 22nd, 2025 showed Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook in Washington, D.C. on June 25, and President Donald Trump speaking on August 22. A federal judge on September 9, 2025, temporarily blocked U.S. President Donald Trump's move to fire Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook as she challenged her ouster from the central bank. Judge Kobe granted Cook's request for order to remain on the Fed board for now while her lawsuit plays out. Wow. Oops. Yeah, I'm just reading some info I see under the photograph of the president and the Fed governor. The President of America attempted to fire Federal Reserve Governor, a case which could have far-reaching consequences for the independence of the central bank. Trump sought in August to dismiss Fed Governor Lisa Cook, a key official serving on the Fed's interest rate setting committee, assuring her of mortgage fraud. She denies the charge. Conservative domain Supreme Court Barry Trump with immediately removing Cook, allowing her to remain in her post until it could hear the case contesting her dismissal. In a sign of the significance of the case and public support for Cook, Fed Chair Jerome Powell plans to personally attend Wednesday's Supreme Court hearing. A source familiar with the matter told the AFP. Powell's expected appearance comes as Trump administration intensify its pressure campaign targeting the central bank, included the opening of a criminal investigation into the Fed chair. Earlier this month, Powell revealed the U.S. prosecutors had launched an inquiry into him over an ongoing renovation of the Fed's headquarters. Powell has dismissed the investigation as a politically motivated attempt to influence the central bank's interest rate setting and heads of major central banks have thrown their support behind him. John bid to fire Cook, the first black woman to serve on the central bank's board of governors, and the probe into Powell are a dramatic escalation of the president's efforts to control the Fed. Oh boy, Trump has repeatedly criticized the Fed for shunning his demands to slash interest rate more aggressively. By hosting Cook, the Republican president could potentially add another voice to the Fed's board to try and shift interest rates in his favorite direction. The case outcome could also determine if legal prosecution for the Fed against political pressure hold up or if the President can take aim at members of the Fed's leadership. Former Fed chief have recently warned that undermining central bank independence risks highly negative consequences for inflation and the functioning of economy. No cause exists. The Supreme Court has overwhelmingly sided with Trump since he returned to office, allowing mass firing of federal workers with holding of funds approach Congress and racial profiling in his sweeping immigration crackdown. The court recently allowed Trump to fire members of other independent government boards, but created carved out for the Fed in its ruling. Federal law says that Fed officials can only be removed for, for cause which could be interpreted to mean malice or violation of duty. While President Trump purposed to fire me for cause when no cause exists under the law and he has no authority to do so, Cook previously said in a statement. In his announcement that Cook would be removed, Trump pointed to a criminal referral from the Federal Housing Finance Agency director, ally of Trump, to the Attorney General. Wow, wow. Mm-hmm. Right, we're not going to further with the article. I do just a couple more lines, I'm afraid, and done it in a bit. As we say again, absolute power corrupts, you know. This brother, I use brute force. I bully down people. Not gonna how them thing. Wow. Opposition raises red flags over proposed change to FID Act. While acknowledging Jamaica's need to meet international standards, opposition legislators have warned that proposed amendments to the Financial Investigation Division Act could weaken safeguards and concentrate too much power in the hands of the agency's leadership. Mm-mm-mm. Mm. The concerns were raised during Tuesday's sitting of the House of Representatives, at which government lawmakers argued that the amendments are necessary to protect Jamaica's international standing and strengthen the FTA's ability to share intelligence with local and overseas partners. However, opposition members, while broadly supporting international cooperation, cautioned that the proposed changes require tighter wording and clearer limits to prevent abuse and protect Jamaicans whose personal information could be shared under the new framework. Finance Minister Favor Williams told the Parliament that amendments are driven largely by Jamaicans' application under global anti-money laundering standards and the need to remain in good standing with the IMO Group, an international network of financial intelligence units that facilitates cooperation in the fight against money laundering and terrorism financing, she said. The changes are intended to strengthen the FDA's ability to exchange information with its counterparts agencies at home and abroad. A key requirement under international assessments at the center of the reform is how the FDA shares information. Under the existing law, Section 12 of the Financial Investigation Division Act governs agreement and arrangement for information sharing. Currently requires the Chief Technical Director of the FDA to obtain ministerial approval before entering into the Memorandum of Understanding MOU or similar agreement with a local or foreign agency for investigative purposes. The proposed amendments would remove that requirement, allowing the Chief Technical Director to enter into such an arrangement independently, a move that the government says is meant to strengthen operation independence, Williams said. However, that is the independence would still be subject to the constitutional and governmental policy. She also noted that while ministerial approval would no longer be required for individual information sharing arrangements, the minister would retain the ability to make regulations governing the exchange of information, which would be subject to affirmative resolution of Parliament. Opposition leader Mark Gordon made clear that this party supports the broader objective of maintaining Jamaica's credibility as an international partner in the fight against financial crime. However, he warned that drafting of the amendments raises legal concerns. He pointed to language in the bill that allows information to be shared for investigation to enforce laws administered by the receiving body, arguing that the wording is unclear and potentially problematic. It isn't clear to me what laws are administered by the FDA because when we look at the FDA Act, it doesn't list, to the best of my knowledge, those laws which are to be administered by the FDA. It in broad terms speaks to what the objective of the FDAs are. And it says, for example, that the objective of the FDA are to investigate all categories of financial crime, to collect information and maintain intelligence database on financial crime, etc. But we are using formulation here of laws administered by the division. Golden said he warned that this lack of clarity could create a legal uncertainty and expose the law to court challenges, particularly when investigation involve status administrated administrated by the agencies. Okay. I'm gonna have to go back to the drawing board and look into that. Go back to the drawing board. Alright, I can really finish it out. We have to just leave it here so quite plenty. Kind of the tit for tat. And these politicians start to tit for tat. That's what they reported them like. Tit for tat. Green Lords Farmers for Rapid Recovery of Agricultural Crops. Okay, let's take a look at this article. Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining, Floyd Green, is championing the resilience of Jamaican farmers and the intervention by the ministry and its agencies for the rapid recovery of agricultural crops that were significantly disrupted during the passage of Hurricane Melissa. Speaking at a press briefing held at the ministry's headquarters in Hope Garden, Kingston, on January the 20th, Green announced that several short-term vegetable crops are now available in large quantities. Current data confirms that we actually have excess production in several crops, and it's amazing that less than 3 months after Hurricane Melissa, a Category 5 hurricane that wiped out some of our most productive agricultural areas, we can stand here and speak about seed crops, the minister said. He noted that the excess production is seen in several crops, including yellow squash, cucumber, cauliflower, lettuce, pak chow, zucchini, carrot, string beans. Even more notable, the excess is found in some parishes that were significantly devastated by the hurricane, including St. Elizabeth, St. Anne, Westmoreland, Clarendon, and St. Thomas. Green pointed out, however, that in some areas, the excess production is due to a downturn in demand. So we have seen, for example, slow movement in yellow squash, cauliflower, zucchini, and romaine lettuce because these crops are primarily produced for our hotel and hospitality sector, and the current uptake levels remain uneven as that sector continues its own recovery following Hurricane Melissa, the minister reasoned. He further noted that other operational constraints in the supply chain have also compounded that situation. The minister pointed to the limited coal storage capacity that was further reduced by the loss of power to some main providers. Now, while people will be able to run some of their household generators, very challenging for large to use generator backup power to drive cold storage facility that they have, Green explained. Meanwhile, the minister noted that market price on other crops have started to stabilize following the spike in the immediate aftermath of Hurricane Melissa. change the position. Kiss me once, girl. Your sugar and spice. Me forever and I be true. Girl. Alright. He informed that the reduction in price on certain items range from 14% to 75%. Watermelon down by 63%, dropping from 880 per kilogram to 330 per kilogram. Scotch bonnet pepper that everybody has been complaining about has started to see coming some coming in, and we are seeing 20% reduction in price being outlined. Additionally, we are seeing 33% reduction in pumpkins, a 20% reduction in sweet pepper, and a 40% reduction in carrot. So, across a number of lines, the consumers are feeling good because they are seeing what they would deem more affordable fresh produce. The minister added. He warned, however, that this stage of the recovery needs to be managed carefully to ensure that market demand keeps price with the supply so that farmers remain profitable enough to reinvest. The minister reiterated that a 6 month recovery period was initially outlined for the agricultural sector. So far, the timeline is being maintained. He further emphasized his commitment to monitoring progress to ensure the success of all strategic intervention. End of article. Just stay up on something. So some 10 food where clear up the unclog arteries most people ignore. Mm. Eat these superfoods to make your heart happy and healthy. Orange, orange are high in vitamin C, fiber, potassium, betaine, and other nutrients. So eating them is good. Is a good idea. That's one. Kale. Kale was one of the most beneficial food we ought to eat to keep our cardiovascular health in check. Kale were hardly specifically varieties that grow with massive leaves but no compact head. Whereas, so them a compare kale and cabbage. Kale have no head, it's themselves, whereas cabbage conform a compact head. The meal would help to maintain our cardiovascular system onset heart disease. The leafy green, antioxidants, fiber, and omega 3 fatty acid were very useful. Some people like kale because of its low fat calorie content. Garlic. Garlic are very strong in nutrients that are good for your heart and may help to keep your blood vessels healthy. Garlics are famous in ancient times where it was largely used for flavoring and herbal medicine. And they even mentioned something about repelling vampires, although we know so there's no such thing as vampires. Garlic may also assist with preventing creation of artery plaques and reduce amount of enzymes in our bodies. Red wine. Furthermore, brown utilizes older wines. The neutral pigments in the skins of dark-colored grapes, as well as fermented processed foods, contribute to red wines primarily. The wine's color can range from bright for light for young wines to dark red for older ones. Aside from its capacity to lower cholesterol formation, red wine may also be able to enhance our HDL levels. Chocolates. Cocoa beans are used to manufacture chocolate, which are traditionally consumed in sweet dishes. We all love chocolate, so we were pleased to learn that it was on its list of healthy foods to eat. Chocolate has been demonstrated to lower blood pressure, prevent hypertension, promote healthy blood vessel elasticity. Sardines, a small edible fish that was frequently sold in large quantity, were frequently arranged in flat metal containers. Sardines have been proven to be a good source of omega 3 fatty acid, making them an additional to our diet. The omega 3 fatty acid has been demonstrated to lower triglycerol levels while raising the HDL levels in bloodstream, making them a beneficial type of fat. Lentils. Lentils were traditionally dried, stripped, then boiled before being consumed as a high protein plus. There, there were a variety of lentils available, including green and small orange varieties. Lentils have the potential to deliver a wide range of health benefits, including lowering the risk of heart disease, stroke. Eating lentils, while we're high in magnesium, potassium, protein, helps us manage our cholesterol, blood pressure, and blood vessel. Almonds. Almonds were tasty, not like seeds. They grew in woody shell and were overall in shape from the almond tree. Aside from being delicious, almonds may provide cognitive, memory, and cardiovascular health benefits. In some studies, almonds have been proven to lower cholesterol levels in humans, limit LDL absorption, and lessen the risk of heart disease. Pomegranates. Pomegranates were endemic to the Mediterranean region and were orange sized fruits with a strong crimson outer skin. Fresh containing several seeds. The fruits had a distinct color and was abundant in antioxidants of various types. These antioxidants would aid in the prevention of cardiovascular plaque ordination. Pomegranates also been shown to help prevent Alzheimer's, cancer, diabetes, prostate cancer, and stroke. Blueberries, right? We all know about blueberries. Beets, remember if I take up on the beets. Salmon, remember to eat up on the salmon as well. And also consume on the turmeric and chia seed. Apples, remember consuming the apples, my friends, and avocados. Eat on the eggplant as well, and broccolis, carrots too. Well, then put on the list chicken. Oh my goodness, chickpeas, and then put coffee on the list. Cranberries, remember to consume the cranberries and figs. All right, this is where I believe that part of the segment. So may I add a new thing to the segment, talking about health. You don't know my live stream. We touched on uh we got into our devotional, then we shift into the newspaper reading. Now we add a new thing to it. We talk about superfoods to eat, sardine, tuna, apples, avocado, broccoli, kale. Then put on the list figs, pomegranate, kale. So we leave the little segment there, but we're going to introduce it as we go on in our streaming. Our health is our wealth, so we have to eat relevant things. Also, drink water. Some people right now, I'm noticing that people are drinking more flavored water than drinking water itself. I walk with two of this every day, two of this, and this I drink half one, and this is the second one, and this is one left back. Yeah, man. As I say, your health is your wealth. You can't wait till a doctor or nurse recommend you to eat certain things, you should know, or I should say, we should know what is good for our bodies. We need to consume citrus, orange, grapes. When I say grape, I mean grapefruit. That's of the orange or citrus family. Limes. Remember for cook with ginger and onions. Yes, there's a big thing going on between which one better to eat, consume, garlic or or onion. So you have to decide which one you think is best. Yeah, man. So they are going so far. Hold on. Okay. Yes, indeed. The same way I continue with it, Right. It's 5:22 in Kingston, Jamaica. Let's see what time is it in my favorite African country, that is Kenya. Okay, so six, okay, it's about after one down there in the afternoon, 1:23 in the afternoon down there in Kenya. In the afternoon, they are 8 hours ahead of Jamaica. Yes, my friends, right here, so I believe it enough. Right here, so I believe it. But before we leave it, right here, I go back into my reading of the scripture. Acts chapter 22, verse 16 says, I'll just paraphrase it. Why are you delaying? Rise, get baptized. All right, continue. It say, do you love Yahweh, our God, the one who has given you every good gift, even life itself? Do you want to show your love for Him? The best way to do so is to dedicate yourself to Him and then symbolize your dedication by water baptism. These steps make you part of Yahweh's family. As a result, your father and friend will guide you and care for you. Give you because you belong to Him. I think it's a bit get bring up some other things I don't know. Just okay, it says your dedication and baptism also gives you the prospects of enjoying endless life. Is something holding you back from getting baptized? Question. If so, you are not alone. Millions before you have had to make changes in their conduct, in their way of thinking, in order to qualify for baptism. They are now serving Yahweh with joy and zeal. First Peter 3:21 says, baptism, which corresponds to this, is also now saving you, not by the removing of the filth of the flesh, but by the request of God for a good conscience through the resurrection of his beloved Son, Yahshua. And Isaiah 43 1 and 2. Now, this is what Yahweh says, your Creator, O Jacob, the one who formed you, O Israel, do not be afraid, for I have repurchased you. I have called you by your name. You belong to me. When you pass through the waters, I'll be with you. When you go through the rivers, they will not flood over you. When you walk through the fire, you will not be scuffed, nor will the flame singe you. Psalm 73:24. You guide me with your advice, and afterwards you lead me to glory. Psalm 73, verse 24. Have yourself a wonderful day and a blessed afternoon in your neck of the woods. Bye for now. Join me again as I will get into a devotional, my newspaper reading, and I'll be talking about some healthy foods for our health. Art of love. Salute.